Hey, it's Kim, and we're gonna jump right into this what I eat in a week video, starting with this delicious vegan French toast. If you're into plant-based comfort food or looking for some vegan meal inspo, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Alright, so once it was done, I topped it with some warm blended berries. I used blueberries and raspberries, and then I topped it with whole fresh raspberries. And of course, you can't forget the syrup. The syrup's really important. I could honestly eat this every single day. It was so good. Look at it. It's so good. I made this French toast in another video that's more descriptive, so I'm just gonna leave the link in the description box below if you're interested in checking it out. For lunch I made chia pudding, which took me a good 29 years to actually like, but it actually tastes really good when I use homemade milk and a dash of cinnamon. Is it me or do these not look like tiny fish eggs? This is what chia pudding reminds me of, just tiny little fish eggs. Also added in some crushed berries from this morning for some extra flavor and some fresh strawberries.
Chia pudding!
Yep, I surely did have more than one. For dinner, I'm making mashed potatoes and chickpea curry. I steamed the potatoes versus boiling it because 1, it's easier to remove the skin after it's cooked, 2, it uses less water to cook, and 3, I don't have to strain the water once it's done. Curry's a weekly dish over here. Sometimes we eat it twice a week, honestly. That's small. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah.
Small. Some big ones. Yeah.
I added coconut milk and chickpea water back into the pot just for some extra flavor. I like the water of the beans. I added coconut milk in the mashed potatoes as well. I pretty much add coconut milk into everything. Also made some small dumplings to add to the curry. I love that it soaks up the curry flavor. Dinner was like 10 out of 10 today. It was pretty good. Happy Monday. I'm starting out the morning with overnight oats. I used the rest of the homemade milk to make this and added in a little chia seeds. So this morning I'm just gonna enjoy it with a nice sprinkle of hemp seeds. For lunch I made tacos because I had tortilla wraps that were pretty much at the end of its expiration date and I needed to use up some leftovers from last week. So I pretty much created a taco concoction that turned out pretty good. I sauteed onions and garlic and grated some carrots. I added in the lentils and the quinoa that was made last week. This cashew sauce is like, it's so good. It completed the whole dish. I use Soyaki wraps because of the ingredients and it gives me a break from like flour, you know. As you can see, we eat a lot of flour-based meals and I like the flavor and the texture of this brand. So I topped it all with my ingredients and the lentil concoction as my base. Then I added in some salsa, some fresh tomatoes, the cashew sauce, and some green onions. And we're ended the day with a veggie chicken stir fry. And we're ended the day with a veggie and chickpea stir fry. I use a potato peeler to thinly slice the carrots. Again, my happy helper is with me and yeah. As always, I sauteed my spices first. This time I used butter as the base. These are leftover chickpea that I boiled from yesterday. I also added in some sweet pea. This sauce is from Trader Joe's. I'm giving it 5 stars for the taste because it's so good. I want to learn how to make it on my own. These are the ramen that I'm going to add to the stir fry. The ingredients are simple and it only takes 4 minutes to cook. So I added it into the saucepan. After it was boiled for the 4 minutes, the only thing I would do differently is slice the carrots a bit thicker because they were pretty thin. On Tuesday, I made a charcuterie board. All right, so I've never actually said that word out of my mouth, so I hope someone French, someone French somewhere is proud of me. Boy, we're making carrot muffins, which is actually one of my boys' favorite breakfasts. I'll link that video in the description box as well. I made it in a separate breakfast video if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. And while the muffins were baking, I went ahead and mixed up some waffle batter and made that as well to add to the board. The length of the time it took to make the waffles is the same length that it took to bake the muffins, so timing was pretty good. I added blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, dragon fruit to the charcuterie board, and breakfast was complete. The muffins were a bit crisp. I think it's because I baked them in the smaller tin, but they were definitely still enjoyable. And I had some leftovers for lunch. Okay, so I have all of my spices and veggies cut up. This is celery, garlic, onion, green pepper, and tomatoes. And I cooked my black beans this morning. I do use most of the dry beans, so I just cooked it so it'll be ready for dinner. Just beans, no seasoning, no salt, literally just the bean and the water that it was boiled in. Yep, that's coconut milk, and I added in my favorite veggies and green onions, and I was also craving corn and fried plantains, so I made that as well. And I also made some quinoa to go with our dinner. I'm not really a big rice person, so if you've never tried lemon pepper on your corn, it's so good. I don't know what it is about Wednesdays, but that's my lazy kitchen day. So I made oats for breakfast because they're always fast and easy. I use oat bran because I like the texture of it versus rolled oats. This texture is kind of like cream of wheat. And I enjoyed it with some hemp seed, chocolate chips, and some strawberries. For lunch, I made a mango smoothie and used coconut water as the base. I did add 3 pieces of papaya. I probably won't ever add more than that because it just changes the whole flavor. And I ate it with a slice of bread. And my boys also wanted a smoothie for themselves.
That's not messy.
Yum.
Yeah.
For dinner, I made toasted wrap using yesterday's dinner leftovers. So this tortilla was in the freezer for a while, so it looks a little wonky. So I literally topped everything we had yesterday and just turned it into a wrap. easy peasy Wednesday dinner is served. Alright, so it's the last day of this What I Eat in a Week video, and I'm starting off the morning with some waffles. I didn't show much of what I drank in this video besides the smoothie, only because I pretty much drink water. I only buy water. To go with the waffles, I chopped up my favorite fruit, mangoes, and added in some blackberries and some syrup. For lunch, I made some fresh tomato sauce, which is just 3 simple ingredients, or if you're counting the basil. So it's garlic, onions, and tomatoes, of course, and and olive oil. So 5 ingredients. I know it looks a little plain, but I'm telling you, the flavors are like, they're so good. If you've ever had fresh tomato sauce, so good. And finally, we are having roasted root veggies. I oil, salted, and seasoned before putting them in the oven for about 45 minutes. I did put broccoli in probably 10 minutes before it was actually done because I do like my broccoli crunchy. And this wraps up my What I Eat in a Week video. I'm not big on snacking, so I didn't really show much of that, but I hope to see you guys in my next video.